I'm here to talk about Robert's painting called The Night is Lowering Early. And the subject of this work is Emma Bell Miles. She was lived from 1879 to 1919, and she was a gifted writer, poet, illustrator, naturalist, and women's activist. She was passionate about Appalachian life and culture. One of her best-known works was a nonfiction book called The Spirit of the Mountains. So she lived in Walden Ridge, which is in southeastern Tennessee. And I made you a map to show you where it is. It's right here, and it's north of Chattanooga. And she also was born in Rabbit Hash, Kentucky, not far from Cincinnati. So just a geographical tidbit. The geographical name for a ridge is called an escarpment, which is a steep slope that was formed from erosion, and on either side of it, the land is relatively level and much lower than the ridge. So on Walden Ridge, it's 74 miles long, and it's the elevation is 3,000 feet with river and valley views. So I would like to read you some of her entries in this collection of her journals called Once I Too Had Wings. And so I just picked out a few to read today. This is from October 9th, 1912. There were no hacks, and I believe that means like a ride. So I sat pencil sketching by the road, waiting for a ride. Most beautiful weather, the treetops turning on the side, the pines immersed in a sort of blue dusk. Mr. Sim Long came by with his handsome gray horse and buggy and took me clear to the red house. He was much pleased with my drawing for the lookout and ordered 25 similar of his house as souvenirs for a house party. Zella Armstrong and her mother were delighted with the drawing and the story. I brought and had coffee and rolls sent up for me. I then went to the news office, but Mr. Johnson did not care for any verses I had and asked for something specially written for the commercial edition. Have seen a great flock of pine siskins picking over a large pine tree, quite a sight. There must have been 100. The tree was alive with them. There was no inch of bark or bough, and they did not go over, and every cone had its wee bird standing upside down and working at the seeds. Joe is with Mrs. Stroop, the school having closed on account of measles. Mrs. Stansel has gone. I was at a stand and depressed with loneliness and prayed for help, and it has come. A new patient, a Miss McRoy, was put into the bed next to mine. I knew at once I was going to take her. And what was my gratitude for every present help and blessing when she told me she has been studying CS for 2 years? She is very ill, too weak to do her own hair, has most of my symptoms and a digestive trouble besides. We read together. Or I read and she listens and talk a good deal. So she had tuberculosis, and that was something she dealt with for 10 years before she died of it. And also her son was lost to scarlet fever when he was 3. So she besides being an entrepreneur and just a super creative person, she dealt with a lot of hardships. I'm gonna read you I'm going to read you this one paragraph because I think it's just fascinating. And then I'm going to show you some of her pictures that she drew. June 30th, 1915. Doc's wife found a whippoorwill's egg while huckleberrying. I want to go huckleberrying. Saw the bird fly up from her nest. Grandma says the bird turns the small or white end of her eggs to the sun, east in the morning, west in the evening. So besides doing the writing, she would illustrate her own works. These are some book covers. turn the page. And these are just some beautiful bird drawings. And if you haven't seen Robert's work in person, you have to see it because it's amazing. It's just so beautiful, and there's so many layers to it. And it's very interesting to see all the different pieces and parts that he uses. And I'm so grateful that he asked me to talk about Emma Bell Miles, as I'm a new fan, and I can't wait to read more. Thank you.